Welcome back to From My Living Room to Yours. Today I want to share our new campus plans with you, or I should say our revised campus plans. This has been a long and prayerful journey. After losing a building to fire 4 years ago and then having to make the heart-wrenching decision to permanently close our preschool, we've done a lot of strategic planning along the way. We've had listening sessions and dream catching groups, all of that before we started our capital campaign last year, which was very successful. And what you'll see represented in these plans are four key components. The first is to connect all of our campus buildings with a more centralized outdoor hub and to make use of spaces that were not being used before, particularly outdoor spaces. The second was to make a more dignified entrance for our food pantry guests so that rather than lining up in the driveway and having to deal with safety issues, they would come through the patio doors into the parish hall. Also, the third is that we would have more nimble spaces so that there wouldn't be anything that's only dedicated for an hour a week, for example, and then not used the rest of the week. Rather, there are cross purposes. The fourth is to make our administrative offices more efficient and accessible to the parking area during the week, which by moving that to a different space, those offices would be moved out of the parish hall and free up all of that space back to outreach ministries like the food pantry. So let me walk you through our plans. Just a moment, and I will share my screen with you. As those of you who use Zoom know, it takes a few clicks before you can get to the right place. And there we go. So I want to start with a very high level picture. If you can see the little hand there, this is Balor Drive. Along here is Guadalajara Drive. Over here is the side parking lot off of the kitchen. And here is our main parking lot. You see the labyrinth back there. One of the first things you'll notice is that where there used to be a playground, there is now an open courtyard connecting all of the buildings. There's an upper patio off of the parish hall and a lower patio down off of what will now be the offices and the chapel. And so there's this courtyard that one enters into off of the parking lot. There'll be a sitting wall here. I'm going to enlarge that just a little bit right now, I think. There you go. There'll be sitting walls off of this hedge. This is the ramp that goes up into the parish hall area, stairs, and you notice the main playground has now been moved back here. The shade structure, this is the existing shade structure. The other one that was located here is relocated over there, which then creates a nicer link with the labyrinth to families could have children playing in the playground and other people walking the labyrinth or under a shade structure. Likewise, parents could be in this outdoor patio area off the parish hall and see their children playing over there. So let's walk through the parish hall a little bit more. Not a lot changes in the main areas, except for we have some dedicated storage spaces. This is the parish hall door that comes off of closest to Balor Drive. That remains. Other dedicated storage areas. And now where the offices used to be, that whole area is opened up into one big open space with movable walls here and here so that we can divide those areas into 3 meeting rooms if we wanted to. Each of the areas has a TV monitor so we can show videos in those areas. This wall, when it goes across, will have a door in it so that those people can still get out to come and use the bathrooms down here. The kitchen door is made into a double door, so the food pantry volunteers will have an easier time of moving out supplies from the kitchen to the parish hall. Most of the kitchen remains unchanged. However, we will refurbish this walk-in freezer. As you may remember years ago, well, probably 4 years ago, we refurbished this walk-in refrigerator, knowing that it's now more energy efficient to have that kind of space. So once we refurbished this freezer, all the platters and vases and pans and pots that are stored in that non-working freezer will move into this storage area. Some of you may recall that currently in this area, there's a little janitor closet and a bathroom that is not used. So that whole space will be remodeled into shelving and counters or cabinets that will be efficient for storing all these supplies that are currently in here. When you come up into the parish hall, the main entrance is here into the lobby. When you enter into the lobby, you'll find a water fountain and a water bottle filler. There are some cabinets and storage areas. This is a window partly into this space to get some sunlight in, natural light. These are the two main bathrooms, here and here. Each of them have off of the handicap stall a shower. So that gives us the ability to be an evacuation center should we need to be one during fires in the future or something like that. It also gives us the ability to have indoor showers for our interfaith shelter guests, as well as if we hosted a youth group that was on a mission trip. And then there's also a family bathroom. This line here is just a beam overhead, so this whole area is open to the lobby. And then there's another meeting room here. This whole area is essentially an addition to the parish hall to replace the square footage we lost in the Friendship House. So this room, again, can access the bathrooms this way, it can access outdoor this way, and will likely be dedicated to our support groups. We have about 13 support groups a week that meet, so they'll likely use that space. Over here, we have the preschool building, which was the preschool, will now be, it'll probably be called the Neighborhood Center. We're still playing with the name, but it currently we're referring to it as a day center or drop-in center, advocacy center, where people will be able to come and check their email, maybe take a shower. There's going to be a shower back here, do a load of clothes, a stackable washer and dryer here. But until we understand the full needs of that space, we really won't do any remodeling except for adding that shower, the washer and dryer, and a rear entry. On Sundays, that same space will be our Sunday school area, because each of these classrooms have lots of storage. So we'll be able to have heavy duty fold up tables that are child height, as well as stackable chairs, so that on Sundays, the volunteers will be able to just pull out those supplies out of the closet right in those rooms. The other idea about having this be the day center is that it has better access to the Showers of Blessings. We understand from the Showers of Blessings teams that their trailer ministry is really important to the way they do things. So we are dedicating this storage shed to them, which will be used a bit by the Sunday school, Vacation Bible School things. And this rear entry will make it accessible then on Saturdays that people taking showers can come inside and check email or something like that. On Sundays, the existing play house that everybody loves so much will stay in place, as well as some other playground equipment, and the fence will be left just around this area so that the Sunday school classrooms can come directly out into that play yard. We're imagining that some people who come to the day center might also have children that will access that playground also. So that is that space. Now we move over to the sanctuary, where there is hardly any remodeling happening in our sanctuary, with the exception of adding these doors at the end of the side chapel. So right now there's an altar here, that altar would be replaced by an altar on wheels and moved over here. Most often, it would be against this wall rather than out here. And the liturgical elements that are on the walls here will be put on the wall there. The first few pews over here on the side, or the only pews over here on the side, will be removed so that this whole area can now be flexible space, and we can rearrange it any way we want for our family area. If we wanted to have an intimate service using the altar this direction, the chairs could be faced that direction. If for some reason we wanted to have a different kind of worship space, we could do it over here. And these chapel doors not only allow us to move out for fellowship, but we could also have outdoor worship out here. And that's why this altar will be on wheels, so that it can move around wherever we want it to. That is that area. Then we come to what is known as the old wing of the church building. This room, which was a preschool classroom, will be converted to the Friendship Lounge and be dedicated to the youth group. They'll have a bifold glass doors that will fold out so that they can have this patio area. There's another glass door here. This space would be used by other groups when the youth aren't using it. So we could have a wedding reception, for instance, or a funeral reception, a smaller size one that could be in this space and come from the chapel door out here and make use of this patio area. The main entrance, again, let me reorient you slightly. This is the parking lot, the new courtyard, and then the main entrance to the offices is right here. So in that space, people would enter in here during the week. There's a copier and a workspace there. A volunteer who is welcoming people would sit at this front station. The parish administrator would have this whole back work area. Both of those stations have a privacy screen that would come up about this high, I guess, so that when a guest comes in, they're not looking right down at the desk of the person working. This is a glass door into the finance and communications office, so people working in that area can see who's coming in the front door. There's a hospitality bar here that is a full-size refrigerator, a counter with coffee maker for the office staff, as well as anybody using the Friendship Lounge. There's a electrical storage room here that's been expanded slightly to make room for our Wi-Fi router, our security systems, some office storage, things like that in there. The restrooms remain unchanged. The education office would be our youth director and our director of Christian Ed would share this office. And then down the hall, this has been meeting room 1, that's divided in a couple areas. The rector office would be there. So it's a little more private with this existing door, keeping people from just coming on back. And this door locks at night so that people using the Friendship Lounge don't have access to our copier. And that is about it. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and just tell you that we're almost through the permitting process. We imagine starting some of the projects later this fall, and the main project probably in January. We are honing in on the actual budget because the budget we had at one point was a bigger addition than what we are currently proposing. And we're nearing a settlement with our insurance company on the fire claim. So we'll know more in a few months what kind of bridge loan we might need. It's an exciting time. And because we might not be back in our buildings full time because of the pandemic till next spring, I'm just imagining that would be a miracle if we were in before that. So that restriction might pair really well with our construction plans to have to do less phasing and figure out how to move forward more quickly so that when we reopen, we'll be in our new spaces. In the meantime, I ask you to keep your architectural committee in your prayers as we move through the minutia of picking finishes and meeting with vendors. Thank you for your time today. Until next time, be humble, be grateful, be kind.